Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoyed these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you could see it and you could purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing one of the most interesting and appealing Jaeger LeCoultre novelties of the past half decade. Launched in 2015, this is the Geophysic Universal Time, an automatic deadbeat second stainless steel world time watch based on the essential lines and proportions of the 1958 Geophysic Technician's watch. So the watch on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, wears quite easily, 41.6 millimeters in diameter. It's also reasonably slim given the complications. 12 millimeters thick, and it does have a rather flat conical bezel, so it should slide underneath just about all cuffs. From lug to lug, the watch is quite agreeable. You do not need a huge wrist for this one. At 48.4 millimeters lug to lug, it's even more compact than I expected, and with the spacing of 21 millimeters between the lugs, it has a nice broad modern stance, even though it is based on a vintage timepiece. The watch, however, is very modern in its accessories, with the alligator leather strap, rich, thick cut. You can see just how much gator you get in profile, with a monotone stitch large rectangular scale, the most expensive kind, and a semi-gloss finish. You'll also appreciate the fact that JLC gives you a full stainless steel deployant clasp to match the stainless steel case. One of the undersold advantages of this clasp is that you actually can push on its underside and detach it from the strap without resort to a strap tool. So it is a very clever design as well as a secure one, and as you can see, it's well designed because the underside of the chassis of the buckle actually traces the arc of the underside of your wrist. Jumping back to the case, you can see the imagery of the 1950s Geophysic right here. Carrera lugs before the Carrera was even a thing. The 1958 Geophysic had lovely striking and thrusting lugs jutting out from the case band. Here you can see they're rendered in high polish about their tops and their flanks, with a satin finish running longitudinally along the case. And you'll also note that the lugs are nicely broken out from the case band. Look at the attention to detail. The bezel is slightly countersunk into the hoods of the lugs to thin out the profile of the case. You'll also note that there is a nice rolled transition from the hoods and the tips of the lugs to the flanks. Turning over to the crown side, you can see the JL logo. The bezel is flat. It has a vertical portion and a conical portion, all of high polish, and that brings us to the dial, which is something else on this watch. Let's talk about some of the features you see here. All applique indices. You can see that as with the original Geophysic in 1958, which featured the radium lume on the underside of the crystal, here we have an outboard placement of the lume dots inside the satin finished inner bezel of the watch. So you can see outboard of each of the applique indices there's a small dot of lume. You'll also note that there are 24 reference cities to represent the 24 principal time zones of the world, and you have a 24-hour rotating split day and night reference ring. You can see how this works, so that you first set the hour adjacent to your reference city. And so you can see, for example, I'm setting midnight at London, and now I have the ability to set my local time wherever I please. So now I have my local time at center, and I have the correct time in the 24 principal time zones of the world. The time zones are also easily traced against a ring that is blue and white for day and night. Inboard of that, we have a lacquered dial with a lovely gradient. As you can see, it's dark blue at the edge and it fades to a pale silver blue at center. All of the land masses are a lovely relieved and raised metallic with a satin finish. It is a gorgeous dial, and you can even see there's a little bit of fauxtina going on in the coloration of the lume as well as the lume within the hands. There's also deadbeat seconds. Look closely and you can see on this dial there are also dial side bolts a la FP Journe, black polished, holding the assembly together. It's a lovely mechanical touch, and you can see there is a sort of projection of the globe. It's not exactly a map. It is more of a Lambert projection from the North Pole, and there's a lovely polar red and white candy cane running right down the center. For want of a more technical term, turn it all over and you have JLC caliber 772 automatic winding 40-hour power reserve. You can see the gold rotor. It is thick at over 7 millimeters thick. It is tough. That's the advantage of thickness. You'll also appreciate the fact that it features a full balance bridge and a free sprung index for shock resistance. It features the deadbeat seconds but also hacking or stop seconds, and then you can see that the balance itself is a yoke style with the JL logo actually built into each side of the yoke. That is the logo of the company. It's a clever design pulled from the 2007 Master Compressor Extreme Lab 1. It maximizes the polar moment of the balance, but it also creates an aerodynamic immunity such that less friction is caused by aerodynamic interference. Now, you beat away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 36 joules, handsomely finished with Cote de Genève as well as blued and black polished screws. It is all Jaeger LeCoultre, highly shock resistant, and of course very precise, having gone through the Master 1000 hour control test of resistances, winding efficiency, power reserve, and chronometry. All of this 50 meters water resistant. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox. JLC Geophysic Universal Time by Night.